Shalom. I like to give all honor, praises, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim preachers wherever truth and sincerity around the four corners. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners. And peace and salutations to the Akim and the few Aquath, the true believers of the hopeful elect. Just coming back in the spirit of the theme of prophecy, and I just wanted to speak about Trump, passing that law, dealing with the homelessness in D.C. and him deploying the National Guard to Washington, D.C. I wanted to speak about it before it got old. I'm kind of late to the party, but I'm in the party nonetheless. I got a couple of articles I'm going to read, hit a couple of precepts, and Lord's willing, this would be edifying. This is just, we're in the spirit, we're in the time of judgment, and we're in the time of prophecy coming to pass. So, Esau is coming down being that cruel Lord. Trump is really showing his horns. And to be perfectly honest, he may be the last president to run the corporation America. So anyway, let's get into the articles. Alright, this is from Independent. It says Trump demands homeless immediately move out of Washington, D.C. to make nation's capital more beautiful. And notice that this is after he cuts the jobs, and cuts the government spending, which made a lot of these people homeless. And from what I understand, I believe he made it illegal for you that it's illegal for you to be homeless. So all of those people, mainly the nation of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, mainly that end of eating off of Section 8 and WIC and food stamps, all of that's coming to an end. This was published a couple days ago, Sunday, August 10th, by Gustav Kalander. Let's read a little bit of this. It says, President Donald Trump has demanded that the homeless immediately move out of Washington, D.C. to make the nation's capital more beautiful. Trump reiterated his Saturday announcement that he's set to hold a press conference at the White House on Monday, adding on Truth Social on Sunday that I'm going to make our capital safer and more beautiful than it ever was before. It says the homeless have to move out immediately. He continued, we will give you places to stay, but far from the capital. It says the criminals, you don't have to move out. We're going to put you in jail where you belong. And from what I understand, they did a survey, or they did a test, and it come to find out that the crime has went down. So why would he, deploy the National Guard? Because it's already been written. It's an agenda, Order ab chaos. They create the problem. They look at the reaction, and then they come with the solution. You see? All of your comforts that you've had in America, in Babylon, the snake, those are coming to a halt because he mentioned in his I watched a little bit of the press conference. He mentioned in it that um that was not only Washington D.C. has a problem, but New York and New Jersey and Chicago and Detroit. He mentioned, and Philadelphia. He mentioned major cities. So he's definitely going to uh, push forward with his tactical schemes. It says the president went on to say that it's all going to happen very fast, just like the border. We went from millions pouring in to zero in the last few months. This will be easier. Be prepared. There will be no Mr. Nice Guy. We want our capital back. Alright, so let me get a couple of precepts. First precept I want to get, the whole chapter, the whole Revelation chapter 12 is good, but I'm going to just go to the point. It says, this is Revelation 12:12, and it reads, Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. You see, and this is the wrath that he's coming with. It's come. The up and coming elder, Kanak from the Bay Area camp. I believe he's in Tennessee right now. I believe he's in Memphis. He said he had a lesson that he did yesterday, and he said that Trump is coming with a draconian, dystopian draconianism. Yeah, a dystopian draconianism. Bear with me. Yeah. Here it is. It says dystopian draconianism refers to an imagined or fictional society that uses extremely harsh, severe, or repressive laws and rules to control its citizens. And that's exactly what you're seeing. These are the beginning stages of this dystopian draconianism. Trump is turning the America into a police states, into a police state, basically. It's like America's one big prison, and the warden is taking certain privileges away, and that's basically what's happening. And you can't expect nothing. You can't expect nothing else. You can't expect nothing else but this from the damn devil. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 10, verse 2. It says, The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after the Most High. The Heavenly Father is not in all his thoughts, and you can see it. That's why. Trump is targeting you, Jakes, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You know, bringing out making these laws up as he goes along to further oppress you. You know. It said, verse 5, it says, his ways are always grievous, thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. Skipping down to verse 8 and 9, it says, he sitteth in the lurking places of the villages, in the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. And that's exactly what Trump is doing. He's trying to catch the poor, and the poor is a buzzword for Israel. Because Esau can't hide his hatred for you tribes. You know? Nothing is being said about the so-called Chinese, the so-called East Indians, them doodle-eating Africans, you know, them Hamites, you know, them Ishmaelites, them Arabs that came over here. Nothing is being said or done about them. All the negative energy and smoke is being targeted towards you, Jakes. Why? Because you're the children of the Bible. You're the children of God, and Esau knows this, and he knows that he has a short time to rule, so he's coming down with the hammer, trying to throw the kitchen sink at you, at us rather, you know. Salakia. I got another article before I close, because I didn't want to make this too long. Just straight and to the point, quick hitters. I got to get ready for the plantation. This is from Al Jazeera, and it says, why is Trump sending U.S. National Guard to Washington, D.C.? It says the president is deploying the National Guard in response to what he calls a crime emergency, with 800 troops slated to be sent to the Capitol. It says, I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs. Well, just this. It says, United States President Donald Trump has announced that he is temporarily taking control of the Washington, D.C. Police Department while deploying 800 National Guard troops to the city. Trump said his actions are needed to rescue the U.S. Capitol from a surge in crime. But they did a statistic, and it said that crime went down about, I believe it was like 8 to 13 or 23%. Crime went down. So Esau's just coming, you know, he's pulling the old plays out of the old playbook. Just making up accusations. You know, like it tells you in Revelation, the 12th chapter, the accuser of thy brethren. He's just making up as he goes along, so he could be justified in coming after you, so he could use his blessing and sword. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 19, verse 4, and it reads, "And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord, Yahweh of hosts." You see? So this is what you see. And Trump is that cruel lord. Esau is that cruel lord, that fierce king that's ruling over us, ruling over the modern day Egyptians, which are the Edomites. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1 and 2, and it reads, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed." This is to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And this is exactly what Esau is doing. You know, he's spoiling and robbing the poor as they are beaten and trodden down. And he's done this time after time, lifetime after lifetime, existence after existence. You know, generation after generation. As a matter of fact, this is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 15 verse 17, and it reads, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." Yeah, and this is the future of America. You're going to desire to travel into a respected city, and there's going to be military checkpoints. You know, that's why he's deploying the National Guard into D.C. 800 troops for what? And let's not forget that they deployed the National Guard in California as well. You know, when all of that business was going, when all of that chaos and calamity was going on over there, and still is. You know, Esau got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. But anyway, I'm gonna close it there. Shalom to the elect.